Hello and welcome to It's Not Your Parents' Basement, Denver Metro's only first-time homebuyer show. My name's Olivia and Christian.
And I'm Christian Derlin. Today we're going to talk about possibly a little bit of a touchy subject, right?
A little touchy.
And that's going to be, whose advice should you rely on aside from the professionals that you're working with when buying your first home? And naturally, I think we all tend to, parents is the first thing we think about, right? I mean, our parents raised us, they always told us what to do, and usually we can rely on them, right? But there could be others. There could be brothers, sisters, cousins, close friends, co-workers, things like that. So, all of us have trusted advisors in our life. And so we just have to, when buying your first home, you just need to be careful and making sure that trusted advisor who you're gonna tap into actually knows what they're talking about. And not to be insulting here, but some folks tend, especially parents, because they care so much, right? They can tend to be a little, oh, you got to do it this way, and you should do it that way. And so the message here in this show is we're going to talk a little bit about some of the advice that you might get and what you should take, and some examples of where some advice could be wrong. So
Absolutely, and we're just saying this is touchy today because we love our parents too. Yeah. I love my parents, I know you love your parents, we love our family, we love our friends. I love my grandpa who wants to give me advice on anything that I'm doing in my life. But what we want to say is, when you think a little bit further about what you're actually doing and you take the example of your parents, let's say even you're living in their basement right now, possibly they've lived there for 20 or 30 years. That means that they actually haven't been inside of a real estate transaction in that long. And lots of things have changed. Now, certainly they'll tell you, it's not that different. Buying a home is buying a home. And that is true. But inside of 20 or 30 years, regulations have changed, the market has changed, just the ins and outs of the way people do business has changed. Because when you think about it, back in the day, they didn't even have the internet. There was no Zillow, there were no online listings. So it's massively different. So you want to just take their advice in stride and work alongside of a professional that's actually in the trenches working today that can give you a good idea of what you need to do and some sound advice for today's market.
And if you Google the top 10 mistakes first-time home buyers make or things like that, you're not going to find this anywhere on those lists. But it's really important because I think one telltale sign is if you find yourself relying or having to ask your parents or another trusted advisor in your life more questions than you think you should be about the mortgage, about the real estate transaction, that's the number one sign you're working with the wrong people.
Exactly.
You need to go with somebody who is educating you first and who you feel like you can trust and you've vetted a little bit. Ask them how many transactions they're involved in each month.
Right.
And that kind of thing. You have the right to ask those questions. Experience is key in the real estate and mortgage business, and you got to be working with professionals who are experienced. In my book, that's the number one mistake first-time home buyers make. They choose the wrong professionals, or they just default to their bank. Like, oh, my money's there, I've worked with them, I got my car loan there, I'm just going to go with my bank. It's nice and easy, they've done everything right by me in the past. That could be a mistake too. So again, just be careful. But
we want to let's give some examples too, because we love giving examples, right? So on my side of things, on the real estate side, I definitely have a lot of people that I'm currently working with now, and everybody knows Denver's a hot market, right? If you're in there and you're looking, you're getting knocked around a little bit, there's multiple offers, things are going at list price or above. I've definitely got a lot of first-time buyers that come to me and say, what my parents said, I should stop. My parents said the market's inflated, it's too hot, I should just wait till it cools off. Valid. That is a valid point because real estate is cyclical. So your parents actually do have a lot of wisdom to say, the next cycle will come inherently. Real estate is cyclical no matter what. But thinking a little bit further down the road from what they're saying, right now in Denver, the rental market is actually hotter than the sales market. Or I should say, go on Craigslist and go try to find a rental. You'll find that you're actually paying more for rent than you are in certain cases when you buy a home. That's not something that your parents don't know really much about the rental market. They haven't rented a home in years. Something else to think about is if you're going to listen to this advice that just says, just wait because inherently the market homes will be cheaper 2 years from now. We have no idea when the market's going to slow down. Everybody can speculate. The thing is, there's lots of people moving to Denver, interest rates are low, there's not enough inventory, so even us as professionals in real estate, we can't tell you, yes, wait for 2 years and homes are going to be cheaper. We have no idea, so you really want to take that advice in stride and get some other professional insight.
And one of the most important components of purchasing a home when you need to borrow money to do it is the interest rate.
Right.
And that's a little easier to call right now. I mean, interest rates are at their lowest levels in history in the modern mortgage markets, in the modern housing markets. They will go up at some point. Do we know exactly when? No. But right now, since it costs more to rent, if you can get into a rental, even how competitive it is, you know, you're paying maybe $2,000 a month for the house, a house you could buy for $1,500 a month because interest rates are so low. So great, your parents are trying to protect you, saying, hey, you know, wait it out, don't buy, but they're forgetting interest rate is so important. So, you know, the Federal Reserve right now, unless you've been living on Mars, you've been hearing it's in the news, they're going to start raising interest rate. That doesn't necessarily mean mortgage rates are going to go up, but you know, over time, if the Fed starts raising their rate, inflation starts kicking in, you know, we're going to see some higher borrowing costs in the future. So, you know, if home prices in Denver continue to go gangbusters over the 2 years, but interest rates go up, well, you're going to be looking back saying, well, I shouldn't have listened to mom and dad.
Right.
I should have listened to Christian and Olivia on that show that one day and jumped into the market.
Right. I know another little tidbit of advice that we hear a lot too, that parents will tell their first-time homebuyer kids, put 20% down, then you can buy a home. Totally valid. Yes, that's absolutely one way of doing it, but they're unaware that there's actually different options in the market now too. Yeah,
so they're saying, hey, wait till you have 20%, save up, you're busting your butt to save, whereas you could end up entering the market with a much lower down payment. We're not saying there's a right or wrong with this. We're not advising or saying that, you know, putting 20% down is wrong or bad. It's just there's other options, so you got to explore it all. So that's really the main theme.
So we hope that you haven't, we hope that you've actually taken what we've said to heart, because once again, we love our parents, we love working with buyers too that do take into account what other people say, but we do really just honestly want to give you some honest advice to say, think objectively, go get other information, work with professionals that know what they're doing so you can make your own decisions in real time.
Exactly. So until next time.
Always remember,
you'll never forget your first time.
Thanks.
Next time.